Hello, everyone. It's Tracy here. I teach the portfolio course 2 times a week, and I've also taught writing and I teach business and fashion. So today I'm here to talk to you about Square. So, Square is what originally started as a point of sale system. And what that breaks down to is that when you were at your point of sale, so at your craft event or at your shop or whatever has you, you were having a sale made and you needed to take payment at that time. So unless people were able to pay you in cash, they would be paying you by card. And what Square did was originally it had a little reader that let you take credit card payments. It has grown a lot since then, but it still has some of those base functions in here. And there's a couple ways how you can go about Square. So there's a way here we can really deep dive into it where it sets up the whole business. You can go through and create an inventory. It can follow stats for you. It can manage customers for you. It can do a whole lot of things, but we're not going to handle that today. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. And a lot of times it's better to start out with the easy functions of products like this and then move through them as your business evolves. So with that said, let's just start on the base things that Square does and when you would use it. So what I did was when I was selling dog clothes as a business for a while, I would go to Toronto every year, and that was the only time that I really did anything that wasn't online sales. And I'd be taking a lot of cash, but I'd also be taking a lot of cards. So I looked into Square. And when I would go, I would not input an inventory. I had my own inventory that I did elsewhere, and I wanted the ability to just put prices in quickly and not have to go through inventory looking for the right item and things like that. People would come to me with a pile of merchandise, and I just wanted to go through. I had little price tags on everything. I added up the price tags, and what you would do is you would open up the app, it's a software app that you can download for your phone, and it's free. You can start on it right away. You sign up and you can link your bank account to it, make sure you get paid very quickly, and then you can start using it right away. So what it does is this one here, you can see they have their inventory in there, but if you don't have that, you basically end up with this screen here, and what it does is it brings up a little calculator. You can see it down there, and you just input the price points of what the items are, and it'll give you a total. There's probably no discounts. If you're not a registered business, you don't have to worry about HST and GST and things like that because you've already paid the tax on the items when you bought them. So if you bought clay, or you bought fabric, or you bought um, the film for your camera, just things like that, and your metal for your jewelry, all that, you've already paid your taxes, so you don't have to worry about this. And your different diplomas will get into HST and GST and things like that when they talk to you about them. So more importantly, you will list all your items here. You don't have to have, they won't have to say what they are, just the price points of what they are. And then down here, they will have the blue box that tells you what you're charging the customer. When you click that button, it then brings it up so that you can take payment. And there's a couple different ways to take payment, but the original two were that you used either this little hardware piece they have here, which is called a Square Reader. Okay, it came originally in just the headset option here, which is what I used for the longest time here. It goes into the headset of your phone, but they do have the lightning collector for the iPhones and things like that that don't have the head jack anymore. So those plug into whatever connectivity they have, and then you can actually swipe the card right through here because this little sister, you can see it more here, has a little slot in it, and that's for swiping the credit card through. So when you do that, after you've hit the button over here, the point of sale. Once you hit that, it'll let you do, you can either click the swipe or you can click to enter. So you just swipe it through, it'll process the card for you. It gives um, the client the option to sign their name for their card, and then you can send them a receipt right then and there, or they can skip it if they don't want it. It's up to them. But it has it there for you. And then that record of sale will be kept on your Square account for you, and you can look at that at any time. So you can always see what you've sold throughout the week and things like that. And that's the basic use of how the Square works. Now, they've also added some different hardware things on here. So there's the terminals, the stands. This one's probably the next best one. Oops, sorry. The Square Reader for contactless and chip. So that lets them do their tap to pay with debit, okay? Most of the time, this is only used for credit card. This lets you use debit as well. And It has to be a mag stripe card, of course, to be able to use these. And you'll see here they're $10 each, but they're free for eligible merchants. So an eligible merchant just has to be able to prove that they are selling art. And I think when I did this, I literally just filled out where I lived, what I was doing, told them what my art was, what my business was, and that was the end of that. And they sent me the info back, no problem. They sent me the little card there, and you can get ready to go and be like active and working right away. Okay, so it's really nice and quick, and I really recommend it for people who are trying out point of sale options for the first time. It was really intuitive. It seems like a lot here when you go to the website because they have so many different things you can go through and hardware and ways to sell, things like that. But I wouldn't worry about those. Just focus on the easy things to do here. So that's the square. And then I wanted to show you guys a couple more things about what the square can do. So one thing that happens is that you lose these. They're just tiny. Um, I actually keep mine with all my business work just so I don't lose it. But if you lose them, you can replace them, of course, with the $10. But also, what happens is if you lose them or they stop working when you're away at a sale. So I was doing sales in Toronto, like I said, and my card reader stopped working. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do? But I looked through it, and actually, when you click the button here to go and charge, there's an option to input the card manually. So when I went to do that, I was able to then take the credit card from the client, type in their the number of it that's on the front, and then it would process the card that way, and then everything goes as usual. They sign with their finger on the screen of my phone, and then I send them the receipt, and everything's good to go there. So you can do it both ways, and I ended up doing that because it was a lot faster for me instead of playing around with the square reader, because I found sometimes these were just kind of fickle. It didn't want to take your card, or it would go to read it and it would take forever and things like that. So I just started inputting things, which is okay in a bind, but you do want to make sure you have your reader because it is cheaper to run it through the reader. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the processing fees. So the processing fees are down here. It lets you see how much the square cost. So in-person payments, and these are the online option and custom builds and all that. So I'm not going to go through those today, but they are there should you want to go through them. The in-person payments are down here. So you get to pick your point of sale software, which is always going to be Square Point of Sale, and you can get that on your phone right now if you want to take a look through it. So it is free, absolutely free. But the payments that you do take a cost of them. So you don't really pay anything into Square. It's more so that when your money is received, they take a little cut. Okay, so you'll see here they take 2.65% of the sale per tap, dip, or swipe for Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and international credit cards. So that's just credit cards, okay? And then there's a 10-cent flat fee for every interact, insert, and tap. So you have to have the extra little hardware piece I was talking about there. The little brick that's a tap piece for debit. So I'm pretty sure they take the 10% and possibly the 2.65% as well. That would be my guess, okay? And then over here, they take 3.4% plus 15 cents for every manual keyed in card on file payment, okay? So when I was saying I wasn't able to use my Square Reader anymore, I went from this for each sale to this, okay? So it's not a huge amount. It of course costs more, but when you look at things like Etsy or PayPal or things like that, they take higher cuts than this. So I'm not too worried about that. But like I said, if you can, keep using your little reader here, and that's the easiest way to go about it. They have more options here if you want to go into hardware and things like that. But like I said, when you're starting out, you don't really have much to work with. This is the best way to go about it, okay? So you have that. You have your point of sale options, you have your Square Reader, and that's it. That's all you need to do to get going on Square. And then what happens is you link your bank account to it. I can't remember if there's other payment options. I'm pretty sure it's just bank account though. And what you can do is you can set up how they're going to pay you. I think you have the option of like next business day, bi-weekly, and monthly. So what I did was I was only selling for a weekend in Toronto. So I'd sell Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I would have them deposit the money into my bank account on the next business day, which would be Monday. So by Monday morning, I already had all my money in from the weekend. They'd already taken their fees out, and that goes directly to my bank account. So it was really a nice and easy way to get my funds from everything that I had sold that weekend. And then if you do end up making an account with Square, they have this little dashboard thing. I'm not going to go too far into it, but just know that it's here and keep it in mind for the future, where it lets you actually have all this free stuff, which is you can manage all these things over here: online store, virtual terminals, invoices, appointments, gift cards, customers, employees, all kinds of things like that, okay? And what you can do is you can see how much people are spending, their feedback on things, how many new customers and returning customers you're getting. That's really nice to know. So you know where that money's coming from and what your clientele is like. And it just kind of gives you an overview of everything. So that's something nice to be able to look at. But again, that's kind of a bit further down the road, but I think you can log into your Square account and see this at any time. So if you want to see how you did during the weekend, that you were selling your stuff at or things like that, or check at the end of the day, you can go and log into Square and it'll tell you all this. And I'm pretty sure all this stuff is also in the app. I know that I didn't do anything online when I was going through it. I just signed up here and then I was good to go and I didn't have to worry about it. I know it's grown a little bit since I started using it, but it is a fun little thing to play around with. So I'm going to cut it off there. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to let me know. Send me an email or talk to me when we have the ability. And otherwise, I hope you have learned a little bit about Square and know that it's one of your options out there. So everyone, be safe, stay well, wash your hands, and we'll see you on the other side.